Hello everybody! Welcome back to another stream this week. Today we'll be continuing the Great Ace Attorney Chronicles. Last we left off, we got another investigation. We got another go at, the doohickey now that we're actually allowed to look at it. We met the forensic scientist, and now, we found where the guy who built the machine is. So now we're about to go intrude upon his laboratory. As per the title, Bailiffs? Bailiffs! Break into that guy's lab. Alright, let's jump right in here. Nothing else going on. Let's go. Oh right, we needed to talk to this guy. We haven't found it yet. But I assume that we're gonna find. No, we didn't find this guy's lab. We found that this guy was related to this. All right. We did not find the lab yet. We found that this guy was related to the case. Whoops. All right, the resurrecting convict. I believe I told you a little about the professor yesterday, did I not? He took the lives of 5 victims, everyone being either a member of the aristocracy or royalty. All were attacked by an enormous hunting hound and had their throats ripped from their bodies. Oh, so that's why, the Hounds of Baskervilles. Oh gosh, an enormous hound? How awful. After taking the life of his 6th victim, the killer was apprehended. It was a case of unprecedented magnitude in Britain, you understand. Accordingly, the professor was tried in a closed court. No members of the public were permitted. A closed court? So you mean that the professor's identity? As you surmise, my dear fellow, his identity was never made public. Naturally, he was found guilty and was summarily sentenced to death by hanging. He was buried in a grave at Lowgate Cemetery, which adjoins the rear of the prison where he had been held. However, that was not the end of the affair. Oh! The very night that he was buried, the convicted man came back to life. Ooh. Came back to life? He clawed his way out of the ground and emerged into the moonlit graveyard. The exhibit here depicts that very scene, as described by the sole witness to those chilling events. There was a witness. But of course, my dear fellow, it was none other than the young man in the white overcoat. Enoch Trevor. He saw it happen? How does... Oh, the young witness. This happened years ago, I assume, because this guy's like old now. So this is a waxwork model of Enoch Trevor. 10 years ago, the convicted professor, having been gibbeted and buried, emerged from his grave in the dead of night. The sole witness to the unimaginable scene was this young man. From appearances, I would say he was about 20 years old. It's so horrifying. Scared out of his wits, the young Dribber ran to a nearby police station to report the incident. And the sheer terror of what he'd seen is said to have turned his hair white overnight. Yes, as shown in the photograph we have of him. His hair is completely white. For the following few days, the story of what he'd seen was on every front page in the capital. The public was frantic for every last detail about the killer who'd come back to life. As you've seen, an exhibit was even created here at Madame Tuspel's. I can quite understand why the man's hair turned white, certainly. But what I don't understand is what Mr. Drebber was doing in the first place. In a lonely graveyard in the middle of the night. Yes, what was he up to? Oh, following the execution. Alright, yeah, what were you up to? Well, you have a shovel. I have to assume you were about to, like, dig up somebody. The professor's acts of terror threw London's upper classes into complete panic 10 years ago. It was a great scandal, one might say, at the very highest levels of society. And since the killer's identity was never made public, rumors abounded. After all, no killer had ever before but systematically employed a dog as a murder weapon. Yes, I can imagine the impact the case must have had. And in time, of course, the rumors abated. So too did talk of the shocking witness account of the convict who came back to life. It was forgotten, dismissed as a dubious ghost story, as a preposterous parlor tale. But why did people stop believing it? Why? Simply because there was no resurrection to speak of, as this was established in fact. What do you mean by no resurrection? Well, I mean, obviously, he crumpled back down, didn't he? The police investigated the grave in Lowgate Cemetery and published their findings. The convict's body was found to be buried exactly where it had been following the execution. No! But that would mean Mr. Drebber must have lied to the police and the newspapers. That would appear to be the only logical explanation, yes. The young man subsequently vanished from society and nothing has been heard of him since. It's rather striking then that he should resurface now, don't you think? Of course the convicted murderer couldn't really have come back to life. That's not possible. But Drebber's hair is unusually white. And what if that really did happen overnight as a result of shock? It's hard to believe the incident was an out-and-out lie. Right. What? Oh! Hello, Gina! What the bleeding Nora, Odo? What have you gone and done? Gina, what are you doing here? I asked Iris. She said this is where you'd be, so... Oh! Gina! Not so loud in the museum! Test spells will have you take a position as a waxworker if you're not careful. I think there might be a more pressing concern. I still have some flash powder left from 6 months ago, so... What's she doing? So... Alright, Gina, we understand, but please, put down the gun! Boing! Sorry, I got scared. You should try being the one on the other side of the end of the barrel. Oh. So, what brings you here, Gina? What brings me here? What do you think? We found it! We found that dodgy Cove's workshop! Oh shit! Okay, we do find it in the investigation. I was just a couple of events too early. Whoops! What? You found Drebber's workshop? The little doggo! Yep, Toby's nose took me straight there. The boss and the others are heading over there now in a drag, so come on. Here's the address. I got the boss to write it out. Oh, thank you, Gina. We'll make our way there at once. Oh, look at her! Alrighty then, see you there! Look at her! Oh. You go. Don't mind me. I'll just stay here, being still. What? Oh, he's upset! I know my place. In the exhibit over there. Oh dear, someone is feeling sorry for himself. Let's go, Mr. Sholmes! You're coming! Your words hurt me, I must say. But if I were to shirk my duties here, Madame would have me pay monetary recompense. Oh shit! I couldn't even read that first word. Hang on. Recompense, and Iris's dinner plate would be empty once more. Forget that. I'll pay for everything. Then there's not a moment to lose, my dear fellow. I shall hail a carriage at once. Oh, there he goes. No offer to share the cost for Mr. Sholmes, then. I shall gladly pay half, Mr. Naruhodo. Thank you, Mr. Zato. Right, let's go. Alright, let's go! Oh, shit! Oh, there's the thing! 23rd October, Enoch Drebber's workshop. That looks like... Oh! It's another super high voltage instantaneous kinesis machine! Indeed, it would appear so. Well, though only a prototype, naturally. So you got here, then. Gina! Well done for finding this place. In such little time. You've really worked miracles! It's Toby here who's the miracle worker. Aww. Ah, I thought your love would show up before long. Oh, look at this guy. Hello, Inspector. That's one knitted brow. He looks like he's eating a lemon, not a bag of fish and chips. So, Inspector, is there any sign of the engineer? Sadly not. We didn't find a soul in here. Oh, what a shame. Well, thank you for letting us know about this place, and giving us the chance to investigate. According to what Gina tells me, we only found it thanks to a clue that you lot turned up. I wouldn't want to, say, go to Paris with a debt of gratitude unpaid now, would I? Aww. Thank you. Anyway, if you're hoping to snoop around in here, I'd get cracking. Lord Van Zeeks and the forensic investigation team are on their way here as we speak. Them again. I imagine you've got the picture by now. They don't take too kindly to lawyer types. Right. So then, my dear fellow, let's turn this place upside down whilst we have the chance. And you, Sholmes. Pardon? They take even less kindly to great detectives than they do lawyers. Ha 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 ha! Very droll, Gregson, very droll. But you may consider me nothing more than an inconspicuous waxwork model. Right then, let's see what we can find in here. Alright. Oh, there's Gregson. Alright, let's take a look-see. Oh, I was half expecting seeing Sholmes just hanging off of this thing. Alright, let's see here. I'm sorry, Mr. Naruhodo. The machine is covered by this Special Dispensation for Scientific Equipment Act. There would be serious repercussions if you were to examine it, from the Crown and the government. Huh? But they're going all over it! Well, those two don't seem to be holding back. It's quite hollow inside. No working parts or devices of deception to be seen, my dear fellow. No loose change dropped on the floor or nothing. Not even a bone for Toby here, my dear fella. British people are very much ruled by their own ideals, aren't they? I think that's just these two, Mrs. Otta. Oh. Alright, can't talk to him. Trophy. Ah, this appears to be most interesting. Yes, most interesting indeed, wouldn't you say? Is an impressive-looking back massager, that's for sure. I've no doubt that if you hit your shoulders a few times with that, your aches and pains would soon go away. As a Royal Society trophy for excellence in science, a young scientist could wish for no higher honor. Ah. Would you like a massage? No, I'm fine. Thank you. I think Ryunosuke was joking. Never mind, he was not joking. I had no idea it was such a grand thing. I think it's becoming increasingly clear that there's much more to this Enoch Trevor than conjuring tricks. I couldn't agree more, my dear madame. And how about you, Mr. Naruhodo? Wouldn't you like to take it with you? For your tired shoulders, of course. Oh, he's not going to let that go, is he? It's curious, though, isn't it? You would expect such an important trophy to be proudly on display somewhere, not haphazardly cast aside. English gentlemen can be quite a mystery at times. Oh, the science trophy has been entered into the court record. Oh, it's important? I'll examine that. Oh, shit. This is important? There's nothing I can examine, though. Oh, shit. No? There's a little metal plaque here. Look. Fostering burgeoning talent for the future of scientific discovery. It seems rather ironic, doesn't it? Well, clearly, Mr. Drebber was a really very talented scientist. Oh, there's nothing. There's zilch on this trophy. It's probably for us to be like, hey, this guy actually did do science. This is... It's a European-style quiver of arrows, with steel bolts inside. Oh, do you suppose... Crossbow bolts, these. And just the right size for the bow you lot turned up at the exhibition grounds. In other words... Yep, that's more evidence to support your theory. It all goes to show that Drebber was the one pulling the strings behind the scenes of the whole scam. Oh, here we go! It belongs to Mr. Enoch Drebber! The details of the crossbow has been updated! Well, he's helping us. That's cool. This door. Doesn't want to open. Yeah, looks like it's got a pretty hefty lock on it. There's a specialist locksmith on his way over from the yard, so hands off till he gets here. With permission, Inspector, I could have that lock open in less than a minute. Well, you don't have permission. And no one's given it to you. Oh, Gregson looks as though he really enjoyed that. He does. Well, there's no sign of anybody on the other side. No, Driven must have fled at the first sign of danger. Oh, thud! Huh? Oh, no, he's still back there. Oh. Is something wrong, Mrs. Otto? Well, I thought I heard a noise from the far side of the door. Well, Gina? Did you hear it too? Yeah, I heard it and all. What do you reckon, Toby? Oh, he's barking. Right, mind the grease. Whoever's in there, open up! This is Scotland Yard! Oh! He's fleeing! He's fleeing! Oh my! Someone is in there! Ah! This rotten bleeding lock! My dear Gregson, as I said only minutes ago, if only if it were countenanced, I could unlock that door in less than a minute. Go ahead. Fine. I'll take the rap for it. Just get us through that blasted door. Oh, there he goes. Oh, it's open! There. You may enter at will. You've confused minutes with seconds, I think. Time's as of the essence, I feel. What are we waiting for? Nothing for it, I suppose. This is an emergency. Oh, here we go! There's a strong possibility that beyond that door is the engineer you all seek. Be prepared for action, my dear fellow! Yes! Now you've got a katana with you, right now. Oh. Oh. Oh! Huh? Why is there a time bomb? What? What's happening in here? Why is everything upside down? Oh, he has a thing of he has a balloon over there. Rats! There ain't no one in here after all. But there must be. It was only moments ago that we heard those noises. Maybe that was the sound of Drebber running away. But there's only one door to this room. He's in the safe, isn't he? And no windows that could afford an escape route. The skylights are too high. Oh, there's footprints up there, though. Huh? What's that up there? Are they footprints? On the ceiling? Blow me! What have we here, then? Oh, they're looking! Looks like someone was trying to burn something in a hurry. Oh, that looks like a set of blueprints! To what? To that Professor Hairbrain's barmy machine, is it? Blimey! If we'd had these, there'd have been no need to muck about trying to investigate all that scrap metal. There's something of great interest here, too. This rope was lying on the floor at the foot of that pillar. A rope? What's significant about that? Never mind. You see, but you do not observe, Mr. Naruhodo. There's footprints on the wall. He was probably scaling something. We must investigate the entire room thoroughly, and before the forensic investigation team arrive too. Alright, let's go. There's a very conspicuous bomb here. I can't help but notice that there's also this very inconspicuous bolted to the ground safe. It's a very large safe. I don't suppose even Mr. Sholmes could open that lock. Although if you were a thief, you could just steal the entire thing, I suppose. Oh, you can't! It's bolted to the ground. It's bolted to the floor to prevent exactly that sort of underhand trick, Mr. Naruhodo. Well then, you could just steal the floor as well, I suppose. I don't think that works! I'm sorry, but you really aren't making any sense at all. Anyway, I think we can agree that whatever is inside must be very important. Can we get it open? No, we cannot. Here's the balloon! That's a really lovely model. It looks just like a real flying balloon. I think it's probably staying aloft on the same principle as a full-size balloon, using gas. A green flying balloon. That's normal. It does have the hallmarks of that amazing deception at the Great Exhibition, doesn't it? Could it be? That the whole thing was planned here in this very workshop? It sure looks like it. There's a stove here too. Everything's what's this table? Is this also... Almost every piece of furniture is upside down! Even Mr. Sholmes' suite isn't ever in this much of a mess. You're in no position to comment on a mess, Mr. Naruhodo. But I suppose it's not quite the same thing, is it? I mean, it's not messy in here per se. It's that everything is literally upside down. But why? Yeah, why? Mr. Sholmes, have you found something? Ah, Mr. Naruhodo. Yes, in point of fact, something rather fascinating. What do you make of this? Let's see. I've never seen anything like it before. It looks like a bundle of thick cigars wrapped up in a large watch me, but... Oh! Ah! Mr. Zato, what's the matter? That's a... Surely that's a time bomb, isn't it? What? Did you say? Well, yeah, but it's not lit, so I think we're fine. A time bomb? Sorry, but what is a time bomb exactly? Well, it's a bomb that goes off when the ticker goes down to 0. Eh? You truly are one of a kind, Mr. Naruhodo. I won't take that as a compliment. Ha! You don't know nothing, do ya, Odo? Well, you don't know either! You haven't got a clue what it is either, have you, Gina? I invite you to consult a dictionary later, Mr. Naruhodo. But this particular specimen is no time bomb, though I confess it has a very similar appearance. Oh! Well then, thank goodness! But then, what is it? I see. So that's it. Oh. Goodness, Mr. Sholmes, have you seen to the heart of the matter? Uh-oh, we're about to do some course correction here. There are times when I consider my lot most unfair, for I'm fated to never know how it feels to flounder as you do when a puzzle presents itself. Ah, the music! But I have learned to accept the hardships that come with being a great detective, Miss Suzato. Here we go. I feel a great deduction coming. Once again, I can draw 2 conclusions from the scene we see before us. The first is that the inverted nature of the furniture in this room is the work of Drever himself. Oh, but how could you? And the second conclusion is that the small device on the floor there is, without question, completely genuine. Please, Mr. Sholmes, you must explain everything! It would be a pleasure. After all, it is a great detective's civic duty to teach Scotland Yards the finer points of the trade. Oh, look at this guy! He is unhappy! Well, Inspector Gregson seems delighted with the idea anyway. Ha 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 ha! Look at this dude! Oh, you deflected the inspector's glare with such fortitude there, Mr. Sholmes. Well done! You're too kind, my dear madame. I hereby dedicate this great deduction to you. Kindly just stand there, Mr. Zato. Oh, yes. I'd be delighted. He's in the safe, right? We have to course correct him to say, he's in the safe. So, shall we begin? Once again, Herlock Sholmes is proud to present his logic and reasoning spectacular. Alright, here he goes. Flipped furniture. It's plain to see that this room is in complete disarray. The bed, the table, the chairs, the lamp, everything is upside down. Almost as if every item in the room had until recently been happily positioned on the ceiling, before falling straight down onto the floor. Every item in the room was on the ceiling? Are you suggesting that? Indeed, the key here... Oh, safe! Is gravity. No, it says safe on the chair right there! Oh, look at him go. would appear that technology has at last succeeded in freeing us from the great pull of the Earth. It says safe on the chair right there, for the gravity in this room was reversed, then suddenly restored to normality. Goodness! The inverted furniture clearly reveals the truth about the part gravity played in this whole business. I quite understand your skepticism, Miss Susato. I too was incredulous at first. However, my conviction in my analysis was cemented when I observed this. An anti-gravity device, almost identical to the one that featured in a dream of mine only the other day, in fact. No, there's a... Oh shit, no, wait, hold up! But then why does it have a clock on it? A most relevant question indeed. That is a timing device that controls when the gravity direction will switch. It was clearly a requirement for the engineer to be able to restore global gravity automatically. And the commotion we heard earlier from the other side of the door was the moment that restoration occurred. No, it's the floorboard! It's the floorboard! Yes, the reason why everything in here has turned upside down is because of the anti-gravity device. So you see, we need to look no further to explain the state in which we now find this room. The direction in which gravity acts in here was reversed by Mr. Trevor, before being restored to normality in an automatic fashion sometime later by the timer device. I have witnessed precisely this scene in a dream I once had when I fell out of bed. Aha. Yeah, we gotta fix some things over here. Because gravity was reversed. Missing engineer. Now let us consider the next conundrum. What was our engineer's friend's aim? Indubitably, the greatest clue we have to explain his actions is above our heads. Oh, wait, whoa! The balloon! There was something on there! Yes, how is it possible that there are footprints all the way up there on the ceiling? A question whose answer will lead us neatly to the truth, my dear madame. The reason there are footprints on the ceiling is because of the nearby skylight. No, it's because of the balloon! Of course, Trevor's aim was singular, to escape. However, there is but one way into this room. Excepting the skylight, that is. Ah. Oh ho ho ho! Whoa! By inverting the gravity in here, Trevor was able to fall conveniently to the ceiling and make his escape via the otherwise inaccessible skylight, leaving those footprints behind on the way. But the ceiling in here is very high, Mr. Sholmes. If gravity reversal was sudden, wouldn't Mr. Trevor have fallen up to the ceiling rather violently? Falling up is both scientifically and philosophically a rather interesting concept, I feel. But the man was cornered with nowhere to run, so escape through the skylight was his only option. The safe! You may recall that I found this in the room earlier, which I believe offers a solution. Oh, the rope! To reach the intended destination, what better tool than this rope? Yeah, Susato's like, By anchoring one end to the wall, the man was able to lower himself safely onto the ceiling. Which explains how Trevor was able to escape this room before our arrival. He reversed the pull of gravity and fled via the skylight. And personally, I should very much like to reverse the pull of gravity again now, just for fun. Silly. This concludes Herlock Sholmes' great deduction of this topsy-turvy puzzle. We need to fix a couple of things here, buddy. Yeah, Gregson's like, are you stupid? Gina was not listening. And Susato is... she's completely spellbound. Mr. Sholmes, there's just one thing that troubles me. I would expect nothing less. You're destined to be troubled by just one thing for the rest of your life. The thing is such a thing actually possible? An anti-gravity device, I mean? I would say that with man's current scientific knowledge at the turn of the 20th century, it's no more possible than instantaneous kinesis! What was your entire tirade about? But your whole deduction hinges on it! Ah, but my dear fellow, when you have eliminated the impossible, whatever remains must be the truth. however improbable it may seem. It's a marvelous line, wouldn't you agree? One of my more enduring pearls of wisdom. I had Iris come up with the exact phrasing. My original was clumsy. Yes, I have a feeling I've read it in something that Mrs. Otto lent me once. Oh? Actually, there is one other thing, Mr. Sholmes. Ah, the spell's broken at last. The rope you found was on the floor, wasn't it? Indeed it was, in lonely coils near the wall. But if Mr. Drever had used it to escape the way you described, wouldn't it still be tied to the wall? He's been caught! Mysteries inevitably unravel in the end, as I think you'll find 2 ropes. And as evidence of such, you need only look at the mystery faced in this room, now skillfully unraveled. That argument is as circular as the coils of rope. I think perhaps we might need to give Mr. Sholmes the usual little helping hand. I'm sure with some minor corrections, the great detective's great deduction will lead us to the truth. Yes, you're right. And we must do it quickly before Enoch Drever gets too far. If you're ready then, let us resume. The Sherlock Sholmes logic and reasoning spectacular! Alright, here we go, buddy. You need a little help here. Course correction. Hold it, Mr. Sholmes! It's plain to see. This room is in table, just lamp, everything is upside down. This is they've been positioned on the ceiling before falling straight down onto the floor. The ceiling? Are you suggesting that the key here is gravity? Sure that technology has at last succeeded in freeing us. First, and then suddenly restore to normal. Goodness. Inverted furniture clearly reveals the truth about. Okay. To think gravity could have been reversed in this very room. I find the whole idea utterly enthralling. Only Mr. Sholmes could conceive of such an only Mr. Sholmes could conceive of such explanation. But the man himself admitted it was a scientific impossibility, so... Yes, you're quite right. We must completely discount the idea at once. Oh, that's unusually merciless of you, Mrs. Otto. When you have eliminated the impossible, whatever remains must be the truth. The detective himself said so, didn't he? Refusing to part with his dreams of anti-gravity devices. Yes, I suppose so. Well, let's see if examining this topsy-turvy scene a little more closely reveals some proof that shows exactly what the gravity in this room was or wasn't doing. Alright, Oh, I can't help but notice this perfectly upright vase. Yeah, that'd do it. Because if gravity was reversed, then why is this completely upright? The upright vase clearly reveals the truth about the part gravity played in this whole business. Upon my word, Mr. Naruhodo, you've surpassed yourself by completely turning my argument on its head. Trying to impress your assistant here, perhaps? No one is trying to steal your spotlight here, Mr. Sholmes. Trust me. Yeah, we're just trying to clean it up a little bit. As you rightly say, though it appears at first glance that all the furniture in this room is upside down. There's an unassuming slender vase is standing keenly to attention. And unlike the large safe, there's nothing affixing it to the floor. And it's the exception that breaks the rule. In short, as much as it pains me, the gravity in this room was never inverted at all! My deepest sympathies for your loss. Oh, poor Mr. Sholmes. I love this group. But the show must go on, so let us continue with our deductions. Oh, now that we know this contrivance is not in fact an anti-gravity device, there remains but one other possibility. You don't say. Someone deliberately turned over every piece of furniture in here. Which might sound obvious, but leaves one mystery very much unsolved. Namely, why would anyone choose to do that? Quite, and naturally there is an explanation. Yes, the reason why everything here has been turned upside down is because of the anti-gravity. That's not it, Sholmes! Okay, He's absolutely determined that this device must have something to do with it, isn't he? I'm afraid the lure of an exciting scientific explanation is too strong. Well, there's no doubt that somebody did this. Someone turned all this furniture over. So whoever it was must have had a reason. It's the safe! It's the thing that says safe! And then the numbers on it. I'm afraid nothing comes to mind at all, though. Well, let's look around and see if the answer presents itself. It's right here. Safe. Safe combination. Take that! Bam! Yes, the reason why everything has been turned upside down is because of the safe combination. Precisely! I believe, Mr. Naruhodo, that you had a very similar experience once, did you not? Yes, last year, when I bought a lottery ticket and noticed the ticket number down on the inside cover of a book, just in case. That's it! For people are forgetful souls at heart, and always make a written note of some important information. Just keeping the ticket itself safe would be more sensible, I think. And what, pray, happened next, Mr. Naruhodo? When the day of the draw came around, I'd forgotten which book I'd written the number in and had to turn my room upside down to find it. That's it! But people are forgetful souls at heart and always forget where they'd noted things down. And if you'd always note things down in the same place... I actually won the second prize, you know? But I couldn't remember which magazine I'd slipped the ticket into, so I had to turn my room off. Okay, there you go. Bye, buddy. Thank you, Mr. Naruhodo, but I believe I've proved my point now. Which is that a very similar scenario has clearly unfolded in this room. Finding himself requiring access to the safe, the occupant of this room needed the combination code. He remembered that he'd written it on the underside of a piece of furniture, but forgot which one, leading to the state in which we now find the room. Yes, Mr. Drebber overturned all the furniture in here in a desperate hurry to locate the combination code that would unlock the safe. Bam! Alright, here we go. What's missing over here? Okay, now let us consider the next conundrum. Oh, it's our engineer's frenzy. Okay. Right there. There's something in the balloon. I can't help but notice. But there are footprints all the way up on the ceiling. Lead to the truth, my dear madame. And the ceiling is because of the nearby skylight. Nope! Well, if a change in the direction of gravity can't explain it, then how did those footsteps get there? Yes, I feel as though that particular mystery has just become even harder to solve. I can't think of any other way to explain it at all. Oh, life is so much simpler in those Halcyon days when gravity could be reversed. It was minutes ago, and those Halcyon days never existed in the first place. Well, I suppose we must simply put our faith in Mr. Sholmes and observe the area in more detail. Putting our faith in Mr. Sholmes is what gets us into these situations in the first place. Alright, here's something up there. Yeah, that shoe. Oh, give me 1 second. Alright, I'm back. Sorry about that. Alright, let's... Oh, whoops. I meant to present. It's hard to believe, but there's a shoe up here. Look! Oh, yes. And there are more footprints on this little balloon, too. Perhaps the shoe was thrown up there and became lodged, do you think? If so, then judging from the number of footprints, it must have been thrown up several times. Ah! Damn, this guy's been throwing them up here quite a bit then. Why would anyone be throwing shoes up at the ceiling, though? Oh dear. That's beyond me, I'm afraid. Okay, let's present that, thank you. There it is. The reason there are footprints on the ceiling is because of the nearby shoe. And on closer inspection, there are clearly footprints all over the balloon as well. In other words, the aim was never the skylight at all, but the balloon. But for what purpose? A green balloon. That seems somewhat familiar, Data. Ah! It was a piece of a green balloon's envelope that Mr. Naruhodo and Iris found at the scene. And inside the green balloon that Master Gotts claims he saw above the stage when the incident occurred was the second birdcage, the crux of the whole instantaneous kinesis deception. You mean to say... If we assume the balloon in here is a model of the one used on the day, there's a strong possibility something may be concealed inside it. Something our absconder was desperate to retrieve before making a hasty getaway. But the balloon's out of reach. Hence why he resorted to a projectile, namely the shoe. Most probably, Trevor intended to tear a hole in the envelope by assailing it with the shoe. However, his efforts were thwarted when the shoe itself became a prisoner of those lofty heights. Oh dear, we desperately need to examine that balloon. If only if there was some way we could see inside. You may recall that I found this in the room earlier, which I believe offers a solution. Oh, the rope! To reach the intended destination, what better tool than this rope? Oh? Mr. Sholmes has managed to bring the deduction back to the rope. Alright, I have to admit, that was clever. So we just throw the rope up to the balloon and pull it down to us on the ground. Which is much easier said than done, I feel. It could take us a very long time as well. True. Perhaps we need a more surefire method. In fact, we already have one, of course, don't we? Oh, do we have to shoot it down? Oh, we have to shoot it down, don't we? The crossbow? To reach the intended destination, what better tool than this crossbow? That was found at the scene, in fact. And in all likelihood belongs to Mr. Trevor. If the man had only brought it away with him that day, he could have avoided losing a shoe at such a critical time as this. Oh. Oh, wait, we're back to visual novel. So, shall we? Your curiosities deeply stirred, no doubt, my dear fellows. What is it that Enoch Trevor has hidden inside that balloon? Boom! Oh! Huh? It's the waxwork! Ah! What the? A waxwork? Indeed it is. A waxwork head inside a metal mask. A mask that is shut tight and fastened with a strong and quite impenetrable lock. So we can't see the face inside, that means. Just a moment. This is the head of a waxwork model. Does that mean... Oh goodness! I see you've joined the dots, Mrs. Otto. Excellent. Of course! A headless waxwork model! In the case of the abducted Madame Tussbell's model that you'd largely solved. It was only the head of the killer that was still missing. Indeed it was. But I believe Madame Tussbell's will now have to settle her sizable account with me. This, as you have now surmised, is the head of the infamous professor. Yes. But why is it here? This conclusively confirms my suspicions. The man responsible for stealing the professor from Madame Tussbell's and returning it, sans tête, till earlier today was none other than Enoch Trevor. This is incredible. Professor Harebrain's case and the waxwork abduction they're inextricably linked by Enoch Trevor's workshop. Oh, the waxwork head. The head of the professor. Okay, let's examine that real quick. Oh, well, we're back. Well, it appears our logical pleasure cruise has come to an end, my dear fellows. Give me 1 second. Let me see the head. Okay, it's pretty... There's a lock here. This lock does look very strong, doesn't it? There's definitely no way you can remove the mask yourself if that was put on you. What a terrible way to treat someone, even a convicted criminal. I know. It's starting to make me feel livid, actually. Mr. Naruhodo, please. I mean, just think about it. Imagine if you had an itch on your cheek all of a sudden. You'd be utterly helpless. Not the issue right now, buddy. Well, yes, that's true. But I'm not sure that warrants quite so much anger. Oh, right. Sorry. There's a hook here. Probably to keep it closed. There's not much else besides the lock. Yeah, there's nothing else besides the lock. All that remains is, yes, to speak with the architect of this adventure. The architect? You mean Mr. Drebber? It seems quite impossible that he escaped via one of the skylights. Obviously, the man must still be here in the room. What? Yeah, he's in the safe! And his location should be abundantly clear. If you simply reflect on the journey we've made together during this deduction. Enoch Drebber is right here, somewhere in this room. So, Mr. Naruhodo, will you do the honors? Yes, of course. Mr. Drebber's hiding place must be the... Oh! We got our own little pause! It must be the safe!
Take that!
Ah, that's cool! I adore this! Before we gained access to this back room, we heard noises from in here. Oh! Oh! Hello! Hello! Oh god. Swims? Help? That's probably, I don't know if that's how you properly say it, but hello. Looking for him while getting ready for Eeps. Just wanted to say hi. Thank you for streaming and helping me wind down my evening. Well, thank you for joining and thank you for dropping by. I hope your preparation for sleeping goes well and I hope you sleep well. Which tells us that the engineer was still in the building at that point in time. He was, in fact, searching for the combination to his safe. In past press for time, he made no attempt to right the furniture that he overturned in the process. From which he can deduce that his search for the combination happened very recently indeed. In summary, Mr. Enoch Drebber is at this very moment inside the safe! Come on out, buddy. We found you. Thus concludes Herlock Sholm's great deduction of this topsy-turvy puzzle. There we go! We found you, buddy! Don't worry about pronunciation, but yeah, I lurk a lot. Wanted to say I appreciate it before I fall asleep. I appreciate you tuning in. You will have a good rest. So, Mr. Naruhodo, I think perhaps it's time we ended this game of hide-and-seek, don't you? By opening the safe, you mean? What else? Let's see. The combination was 1432582. I knew that! Alright then, here's goes. Oh, the model turned 3D. Hi, buddy! Oh, you have a robot arm! You found me. Oh! Oh, look at this guy go! Oh shit! You're a funny-looking guy. Right then, sir. Mr. Enoch Drebber, I presume? Correct. Whoa! You better start talking. You tricked Professor Harebrained with that big bogus machine you built. And you shall have to explain the theft of the waxwork from Madame Tussmell's as well. Most, I would be delighted to answer your many questions. Whoa, look at this guy! Personally, I would advise that you deactivate my little parcel first. Deactivate? Your parcel? I refer to, of course, to the time bomb. I left it in the most prominent position. Ah! Ha, ha, ha. I see. stunned silence. You're all gearing up to die with me then. No! Uh-oh. Oh, that's real! That's a whole ass bomb! Mr. Sholmes, with only 7 seconds to spare. Oh, they disactivated, okay. That was too close for comfort. I've got 1 foot in the grave already. Are you trying to help us get a killer or get us killed? Mr. Sholmes' deductions can be completely life-altering, can they? Well, my dear fellows, that was a close shave. The resemblance to an anti-gravity device is really quite startling, I must say. That just looks like a stick of dynamite, dude! Anti-gravity devices don't exist! I wouldn't push it, Mr. Sholmes. Okay. Oh, you're just here. Can I examine? Nope, you're out of the safe. You're out into the wild. You have mechanically too, that's cool. What on earth happened here? You found me, haven't you? No need to screw me down any further. Everything in here is precisely what it seems. Yeah, but we'll be giving it a thorough going over, don't you worry, Trevor. What fails to click with me is how you were able to locate my workshop. That I was not expecting. When I heard whistling from the other room, I knew it was time to bolt. Whistling? Ah, that would have been me. Oh! Sholmes! For some reason, I woke in fine fettle today. No words, just tightly squeezed chips. Poor Gregson. Clearly, I must have a screw loose though, as I couldn't remember the combination for the safe. And another one loose, as I couldn't remember on which piece of furniture I'd written it down. We also found a rope over by the wall. Yes, I had hoped to exit through the skylight, but sadly the rope was too short. So, I then set about searching for the combination code to open the safe. And burning the incriminating blueprints, don't forget. Regrettably, though, you failed to retrieve the head from the balloon among the rafters. And after that, you hid yourself inside the safe? We first set this parcel ticking. Well, I had no intention of being nailed by the police. Time bomb. Got a death wish, have ya? Hiding right beside a ticking time bomb. Please, why do you suppose I chose to hide inside the safe? It's no ordinary safe. It's specially designed. A dynamite explosion wouldn't leave a scratch on it. So in fact, the safe was the only safe place. Precisely. But once you'd climbed inside, you wouldn't have been able to get out again. I invite you to look more closely. Oh, there's another door. The safe is fitted with a handle on the inside to allow the door to be unlocked from within. Ah, so it is. I'd always intended to blow this place to smithereens in any case. I just wasn't expecting uninvited guests to come along and screw up my plans. Do you mean to say you were planning to blow us all up? No, that was unforeseen. Oh, he was trying to get rid of all the evidence. What do you mean? Most people run, you see, when they see a ticking time bomb at their feet. Ah, I calculated the time required to retreat to a safe distance and set the device accordingly. But your seemingly endless discourse in here threw a spanner in the works. This guy's funny. Oh yeah! Is something wrong, Gregson? Do I have something on my face, besides the usual eyes, ears, nose, and mouth? I think we had a fairly good idea of what's been going on here now. But what are the 2 incidents you're evidently been involved in recently? Professor Harebrain's instantaneous kinesis experiment at the Great Exhibition, and the waxwork model you stole, which this head belongs to. That's no ordinary head, you know. That's the head of the professor. Clad in a mask with a lock so strong, I'm unable to open it safely to reveal the killer's identity. I've been considering carrying it around as protection, after all. Oh, that's enough! Oh, she's here! Huh, woman! Pretty. What's going on in here, Gregson? I'm sure you're aware that I have sole jurisdiction to investigate here. Yes, well, Dr. Sith again, so the forensic investigation team are here. And you know full well that this engineer is a key witness. Why are you allowing this lawyer access to him? If Lord Strongheart knew about this, you'd be finished. You lot. Leave at once. My dear madame, there's no need for such a threatening tone, I assure you. After all, that's no way to greet an old acquaintance, is it, Dr. Sith? Hello, Sholmes. Oh, you're acquainted? Mr. Sholmes knows Dr. Sith? If it's protecting the machine next door that's causing the sour expression on your face, you're quite misguided. It's really nothing more than a shell, you... Get out! But of course, we'll show ourselves at the door. I see you haven't softened at all. Mr. Naruhodo? Yes? It would appear that our delightfully entertaining investigations have run their course for today. But Mr. Sholmes! Let us leave this place in the doctor's capable hands. I said, get out! Now! All of you! Your presence here is not required either, Gregson. Oh, uh-oh. Understood. And I'll just say one thing before I head off. If it wasn't for this lawyer and his companions, we'd never have found this place, and the whole workshop would have been blown to bits. There was a time bomb set in here that this lot disarmed. Inspector. Oh, he's got our backs! Thank you, Gregson! Oh, uh-oh. Something giving you a chuckle, has it, Trevor? So sorry. Didn't mean to offend. You're quite right, of course. You did disarm the time bomb, didn't you? Uh-oh. Is there another one? Yes, you did disarm that one. Oh, there was another one! Huh? What are you? That one? You mean... Uh-oh. There's another one! Oh, there is another one! Uh-oh. Oh, it was hidden inside the machine. Donk. Alright. It was an hour later that we heard the news of the enormous explosion that ripped through the experimentation stage at the Great Exhibition. Professor Harebrain's invention and all its secrets were blown away forever. Whoa. To be continued, except we're gonna be continuing right now. Right. Yes, let's save. Oh, we're on our last slot. We're on our last slot! Oh no! 24th October, 9:11 a.m. The Old Bailey Defendants Antechamber. Oh, good morning to you, Mr. Naruhodo. Oh, good morning, Professor. Ready for today's proceedings? I hope so. I should be. Even I, with nothing left to... Oh, good morning, my dear fellows. Oh, you're here. Oh, Mr. Sholmes, you're here. Why, naturally, a true gentleman stands shoulder to shoulder with his friends in battle at all times. Then where have you been for a lot of this game? Thank you, I really appreciate it. I'll see you later then. Now, Professor, we really need you to remain calm in the courtroom today. Yes, do try your hardest not to enter the witness stand uninvited again. Yes, I will. I realize it was a mistake, but Oh, my dear fellows, I must interject! Oh, you're still here, Mr. Sholmes. What's the matter? Surely you've overlooked some phrase, have you not? Did we cast in my direction, Sorry, I don't follow. Must I spell it out? I, the great Herlock Sholmes, the greatest detective of worldwide acclamation. Or is it some ungodly hour to be here now, first thing in the morning? A miracle, you must agree. Well, if I must agree, then... As you know, my sleep is quite impenetrable. Iris had to employ her full gamut of tactics. She pulled the covers off, shook me, poked both cheeks, punched me, and kicked me from the bed. Then she poured a boiling cup of her latest experimental blend on my face, and at last I was bestirred. Oh my, Iris has been busy. Iris doesn't have it in her to go that far. She's too nice. I sense the spirit of a fellow scientist, one who relishes the infinite possibilities of blending tea. I'm the one worried of praise here, not Iris. This is my victory. Now she got you up. Sorry to cut in. Oh, hi, Gregson. Oh, Inspector Gregson. Good morning. Gregson, my dear fellow! Why the grim expression at this delightfully early hour? Now, I don't know. Maybe because I've been confronted with a grimmer expression, eh? Dear me. Are you going to take that insult lying down, Professor? What? I don't know! Poor Professor, oh. Anyway, here's the paperwork you asked for. What paperwork? Ah, I took the liberty of requesting it yesterday. I have a feeling it may prove useful. You won't believe the hoops I had to jump through to get this brought out of the archives. It's the professor's autopsy report. Oh shit! Oh shit, they're connected! That mass murderers? Who killed 5 members of the aristocracy. I'm bad at words. He was found guilty in a closed trial 10 years ago now. It was all done under wraps. He was quickly executed soon after the trial. It's all in here. Killer's autopsy report. Alright, let's look at that ASAP. I don't know what to say. Thank you, Inspector. Yeah, thank you, Gregson. He's been really helpful. Pseudonym the Professor. Being confirmed at midnight, 17th June. Oh, Courtney Stevens. Oh, she was the autopsy, doctor person. I'm going to take a sip of a drink real quick. Right. Let's get going then. Yes, much obliged, Gregson. Us lowly lot at the yard are just doing what we can. In the shadow of the great Detective Sholmes, of course. Well then, Professor Harebrain, this is it. Today we're going to lay all this to rest at last. I wish you the best of luck, Professor. I suppose. He'll be in there today, will he? Drebber. Oh, shit. Yes. We expect the prosecution to summon him as a witness. I'm still amazed that you managed to find him in just one day. I really owe you both so much. Oh, counsel and the defendant. Trial's about to resume. Kindly make your way. All right. Time to start. This is it then. The final chapter. Funny, my heart's racing a little. I've not felt this before, actually. This strange foreboding. As if something's going to happen in this trial that I'm not ready for. But I can't let that distract me from the only thing that really matters. Finding the truth. Oh shit! Alright. The Old Bailey courtroom. In the name of Her Majesty the Queen, I hereby declare this court to be in session again. We resume the public hearing of Albert Harebrain, here present, who stands accused of murder. Are the counsels for the prosecution and defense ready to proceed? Oh shit! The guy's here today! Definitely not Kazuma! The prosecution is ready, my lord. Defense is ready, my lord. Aww. As promised, Lord Van Zeeks has his apprentice with him. His apprentice with memory loss. Oh. If I may, Lord Van Zeeks. Yes, my lord? There appears to be someone standing at your side. Ah yes, my apprentice and assistant. The prosecution believes today's proceedings will see the complexity of this case rise considerably. Oh shit! I therefore instructed my assistant to attend to ensure the smooth running of the trial. And the smooth running of liquid refreshments, by the look of it. The way he holds himself, the way he moves, it couldn't be anyone else. Oh, but he's still suffering from amnesia, so there's really nothing we can do at the moment. I know, but oh, this is so very hard. Oh, Susato! This is two closest friends right now. It would appear the prosecution has done a fine job in responding to the demands of the court made yesterday. I understand you have successfully secured the engineer who disappeared from the scene on the day in question. Yes, my lord. I intend to call him as a witness shortly. Very good, very good. Now then, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, who have been chosen at random to present the will of the people in this courtroom today. Well, I mean, you were here yesterday. Are you ready and willing to proceed? Of course, my lord. I'm sure we all understand the importance of doing our civic duty. I do so despise deception and deceit. I find it so very wearing. To take a man's life with a conjuring trick. It is against the magician's code, not to mention the law. Any fake scientist should feel the wrath of God, if you asked me.
We have to listen to what's said on both sides of the fence, and, then settle on one. That's it, isn't it?
What about this actual kid? Wasn't like this in my day. Wasn't like this at all. If all parties are ready to proceed, you may begin, Lord Van Zieks. Before I do, my lord, there is a report I must read to the court. Oh, shit. Yesterday, at the Great Exhibition Grounds, the evidence of primary importance in this case, the super high-voltage instantaneous kinesis machine, which was installed on the experimentation stage, was deliberately destroyed in an explosion affected by an unknown person or persons. It was... What? Yeah, it exploded! An explosion! This is an outrage! So they didn't get to examine it. Yes, I heard this grave news yesterday. Scotland Yard submitted a report to my office in the evening. I read that the machine was blasted to smithereens, the wreckage reduced to ashes and flames. I have here a photographic print of the scene taken in the wake of the explosion. Oh, it drops down! It shows what little remains of the machine. Yes, a terrible business. It drops down! There's a hole in there! He did it to destroy the evidence, did he? That Enoch Drebber! The court will take this print as evidence, counsel. Post-explosion photograph. Yeah, there's a hole. They could, whoever was in there could have just dropped down. Like yesterday afternoon, the protection afforded to the machine by the Special Dispensation for Scientific Equipment Act was revoked. However, before a thorough investigation could begin, the invention was obliterated from existence. As such, this will become a very different trial. Oh? As it stands now, with no evidence to which to draw meaningful conclusions, the authenticity of the kinesis machine will remain forever in obscurity. Indeed, a most unfortunate state of affairs. I have a feeling that's about to be disproved very soon, within an hour or so. However, one thing remains clear. The victim's death was the result of the actions of the accused. Of that we can be certain. For it was the accused himself who was operating the machine who ultimately caused its loss of control. Oh! As Lord Van Zieks rightfully says, this is a very different trial now. Oh shit! Oh shit, we're standing your ground! Go Ryunosuke! The accused accepts responsibility for his part in the events that transpired. He acknowledges that Mr. Asman died as a result of the accident caused by his machine's malfunction. However, unbeknownst to the professor, he was being deliberately deceived by a pair of very clever fraudsters. Names, counsel, if you could please. The engineer, Mr. Enoch Drebber, and the victim himself, Mr. Odie Asman. So what exactly were these two men up to behind the defendant's back? The defense intends to expose that information, thus establishing the unequivocal innocence of the defendant. So, yeah, Harebrained was essentially the lever that they pulled to kill him, basically. Thank you, counsels. The positions of the prosecution and defense have been clearly stated. He's growing up! He's got it! Oh, I'm excited! Oh, that's so good. Lord Benzix, summon your first witness, please. At once, my lord. The prosecution calls the engineer, Mr. Enoch Drebber, to the stand. Yeah, we found him, not you. There he is. State your name and occupation for the court. Name, Enoch Drebber. Occupation? Hard to pin down, I would say. See that black monocle? Yes, why do I feel as though I'd seen it somewhere before? Oh, you too? I had exactly the same feeling myself. Your file indicates that you are currently being investigated in connection with another case. The theft of a waxwork model, is it? Most extraordinary sounding business. But that has no bearing on this trial, I assure you. Cleave it from your mind. You're familiar with the public experiment carried out on the Great Exhibition some days ago. The accused super high voltage instantaneous kinesis demonstration. Yes, you could say that. I am aware of it. It was a terrible accident, wasn't there? It was you, Mr. Drebber, who constructed the vast machine used in the experiment. Or so our investigations indicate. Can you confirm your involvement? Yes, I constructed it. Precise accordance with the blueprints, but that's all. Then the court would be very interested to hear your thoughts about the machine, I'm sure. Oh. There he goes. An amazing device, if you ask me. The pinnacle of modern science, making instantaneous kinesis a reality at last. What? Oh, he's dodging it. Good gracious! You mean to say that the experiment was bona fide? Is that your belief, sir? Yes, that is very much my belief. Such a waste that it blew up.
Objection!
But we've already established the machine was nothing more than a prop for an elaborate conjuring trick.
Objection!
You've established nothing of the sort. Oh, shit. All that was shown during yesterday's proceedings is that the same outcome could have been produced by means of stage trickery. The defense merely proposed a method and demonstrated its feasibility. Nothing more. Oh, we have to prove it this time. But... We've procrastinated long enough, I feel. Witness, you will now give your formal testimony about the machine that you constructed for the purpose of the demonstration at the Great Exhibition. Understood. This guy's cool! This guy is cool! Sixay is probably, gonna get, like, donked by this trial. Oh, excuse me. Alright, let's go. I met the young professor approximately 1 year ago, through Mr. Asman's introduction. He provided me with the blueprints, and I constructed the machine to his precise specifications. It was no trick. If the whole show was a fraud, it would have required a body double. Tell me, did the victim have a twin? All the spectators saw the birdcage appear above their heads and crash headfirst into the crystal tower. Except it didn't, did it? The bottom was, like, bumped up. Crashed down. Yeah, the bottom was bumped up, not the head. That's something we can disprove right away. Because I think, the last time we played, it damaged to its base, yeah. A terrible accident, I grant you. Perhaps the science on which the machine was built was flawed somehow. A body double? That goes without saying, surely. To give the impression that something has moved when in reality it hasn't. It's a basic conjuring principle. The deception cannot be achieved without substituting the original with a fake at some point in the performance. But would I be right in saying you haven't managed to establish anything along those lines? Ugh. Incidentally, the prosecution has already confirmed that Mr. Asman had no twin siblings. It's my understanding that this witness is well versed in conjuring artfulness. but such talents do not indicate that he was actually able to accomplish what he claims, namely, the construction of what by all accounts must have been an extremely complex science machine. Whatever do you mean? Yesterday's proceedings brought the true nature of your past exploits to light, Mr. Drebber. Indeed it did, my lord! As a swindler who preys on innocent scientists to elicit government grant money through conjuring know-how. Yes, it's true that I possess considerable knowledge of stage magic. But crucially, my scientific knowledge more than matches that of any academic in the field. Investigation of the witness's workshop attests to that claim, my lord. As evidence, the police found this Royal Society trophy for young talent in science there. Yes, that's true. We spotted it there ourselves. If a hypothesis is sound, it can always be forged into physical manifestation with sufficient skill. Though I may have sold the secrets of some deceptive wiles to sniveling, talentless scientists in the past. Would you therefore assert that the explosion of the machine was an unfortunate accident? Or, of course, a deliberate act of murder carried out by misuse of the science? This guy looks cool as hell! Counsel for the defense? Your cross-examination, please! Alright, here we go! Yes, my lord! Alright, so I already see what we have contradicting here. It's that the base of the thing is broken, not the top. Introduction, construct the machine, a trick, Shell was a fraud, we required a body double. So the birdcage appear above their heads and then crash headfirst into the crystal tower. That's something we can just straight up refute right now. No you. Sorry. We've examined the birdcage that crashed into the crystal tower ourselves. As you can see, the cage, which is a wooden construction, has sustained damage on one particular spot. Following the explosion, it fell some 30 feet into the glass of the crystal tower. That level of damage is to be expected, surely. I agree. The damage itself is entirely understandable. What doesn't make sense is the location of that damage. Oh, he realized it. We got him, buddy. Oh, the breakage in the wood was at the base of the birdcage, not the top. What are you saying? That's the opposite of where they should be. That's right, my lord. The birdcage that was at the scene is damaged at its base. So we have reports of the birdcage falling headlong into the crystal tower, yet the damage is at the bottom. The only way to reconcile these two facts is to accept that there were two bird cages in play that day, which were at some point switched. Switched during what wasn't a scientific experiment at all, but an elaborate piece of stage trickery. Gah. Oh! Got him, buddy! Goodness gracious! Explain yourself, witness! Well... If we examine the facts, there's only one logical conclusion we can draw. The damage on the base of the birdcage clearly indicates that it crashed tail first into the tower. Objection. Oh, but multiple witness reports claim it fell head first. The birdcage materialized into the sky next to a balloon flying over the stage, following a spontaneous explosion at an altitude of some 60 feet above ground level, which is approximately 18 meters. It then proceeded to fall some 30 feet into the crystal tower and then ensuing deflagration. Witness reports amid such chaos are notoriously unreliable. Objection. But the victim's neck was broken. Objection. He plummeted 30 feet inside a heavy wooden case. However he fell, it would be unsurprising to find one or two of his vertebrae crushed. Oh. Hey, Drebber, what's up? Oh. Oh, he's got a second win because we're arguing about it. A riveting scientific analysis of events from the prosecution there. Now to be even more rigorous, I would have to say it was only one vertebra, actually. Oh? It wasn't quiet for long. I find it hard to see what's motivating Lord Van Zieks. This witness is clearly a swindler, and one who deceived a personal friend of his. If you're going to establish this deception, do it right. Sorry? I feel that's the undertone here. Oh! Oh, he's what's... Oh! If you're going to establish this deception, do it right. Oh, Van Zieks is helping us kinda, cause we don't have a good enough case. So he's like, get a better one, cause he is lying, but get a better one. Ah yes, and there's one more point the defense appears to have forgotten. It obviously wasn't a trick, as a certain truth very plainly demonstrates. What? It seems to me that the cross-examination had better continue until we resolve this matter. Mr. Drebber, you will amend your testimony with the details of this truth. Okay. Of course, we must treat the matter scientifically after all. Ah, I nearly had him there. Oh! He's searching. The kinesis clearly took place because there's nowhere else 30 feet high for the birdcage to have fallen from. Isn't that incorrect? Experiment, because the balloon was right here, wasn't it? Or, because there's nowhere else 30 feet high for the birdcage to have fallen down from. Okay, this is clearly wrong. We have to present something, but I don't... I feel like it's the experiment sketch, but if they ask me to point out where, then I don't quite know where. The kinesis took place, but there's nowhere else 30 feet high. We know how high... We can clearly see a hole here. So if there was a birdcage... Oh! Okay, so maybe we would have to... I do still think it's the experiment sketch. Oh, maybe we do the experiment sketch and then we point to the machine itself because very clearly there's a hole here where the birdcage that was on the stage could drop down into. Is that about the same height? Because, like, it got zapped there. That's basically the same height, isn't it? Because the birdcage could have dropped here. Oh, if it drops base first, then, like, it would have had to been from here. And it drops down, and the bottom is damaged. Oh, but how would that have worked? Oh, yeah, because it was meant to go straight this way. Oh, yeah, because he was supposed to teleport, like, straight ahead, right? So if he dropped below... Okay, I think it's... Because we don't have anything else. Yeah, we don't have anything else to disprove this. That's really the only thing I can think of. And we can see in this photograph right here that, like, there's these girdles right here. Okay, I was trying to see if there was, like, glass under the body or something. Like in a Professor Layton mystery room in, like, the second case where, like, the one thing was like, oh, if the window was broken before the murder, well, then why are there glass shards underneath the body or after the murder? Shards underneath the body. But it doesn't appear to be. Okay, let's just do this. I think this is correct. This is a diagram of the experimentation stage and its surroundings. We know that somehow the birdcage appeared in mid-air before falling down into the crystal tower. A fall of about 30 feet, or 9 meters. Did Europe use the empirical system back in the day? However, if you examine the diagram carefully, you'll see there is one other possible location from which the birdcage could have fallen. The same distance of 30 feet. No. Well, it appears the defense has a possible explanation to put forward. Go ahead, counsel. Yes, my lord. Of course. You'll indicate the place to which you are referring to on the sim diagram. Oh, the alternative location from which the birdcage could have possibly fallen the requisite 30 feet. Okay, it's giving me this option, so let's try it. Like here. If it fallen from here, the birdcage would have plummeted the same 30-foot distance.
Objection!
Oh. If that's my learned friend's claim, I suggest to demonstrate for the court, personally. Huh? And you may consider this supporting gift counsel. Oh no, it's not? Ugh. I feel like I've just hit the deck from 30 feet up anyway now. Don't give me recourse. Well, What? Is that not... Oh, is it not? Huh? Where then? No, but it's showing me here. It has to be the state. Do I just like point here? Hang on, I'm gonna save. What? I feel like that's correct. Because it's letting us do this, so like, do I have to point at where like where the girdle could have opened? So like here?
Take that!
Oh, the music stopped. There we go. The place I'm referring to is here. But that's where the birdcage would have been to begin with. Which is exactly the point, my lord. Yes, the birdcage was in the machine on stage. But what you must also consider is the height of the stage itself. Go on, counsel. It turns out that the experimentation stage was built at a considerable height above ground level. If you look at the diagram, in fact, you'll see that it's about the same height above the ground as the balloon was above the crash site. There we go! Yeah, when the experiment got underway, the machine and the birdcage were engulfed in steam. Oh, just a straight plummet. At that moment, the floor of the stage gave way, and if we assume there was to be a void underneath, which there is in the photograph, this birdcage and the only one seen by the audience would have fallen almost exactly the same distance. Now we got him! And we got you, too! Once again, my lord, this is all points to the fact that there was not one birdcage, but two.
Objection!
My learned friend has no evidence that the stage had such a contrivance in its design. We do! We have photos! Someone is responsible for the criminal destruction of the kinesis machine itself, it's true. However, the stage still stands. And take a moment to look at the photographic print of the scene following yesterday's explosion. Oh, he's bringing it up! I don't even have to use it! Go! Yay! Naruhodo is doing it all himself! Good lord! The metal grille that formed the floor of the machine is undone! Yes, most likely to be blown open by the force of the explosion that destroyed the rest of the machine. The defense calls for the space below the stage to be investigated immediately! Alright! Mr. Drebber! Oh. It was you who built the kinesis machine, which means that it was you who built the two bird cages that were used to carry out this deception. We got you, buddy! Whether Professor Harebrain's hypothesis is sound or not, it makes no difference, because it's the construction of this machine that matters. A machine designed to take Mr. Asmon's life and lay the blame firmly at the professor's door, something that could only have been carried out by you, Mr. Enoch Drebber. Gah. Oh, we got him! Oh shit, that's it!
Objection!
Oh. Oh. Oh, he's got something. If my learned friend has reached the end of his wild assertions, the prosecution would like to crush the defense's argument slowly, but surely. Oh boy, here we go. Huh? Your argument fails to hold water. On 2 counts. Oh, 2? We have to address 2? Firstly, before and after the experiment, this witness went nowhere near the kinesis machine. Every relevant member of staff from the exhibition has attested to that. And I believe members of Scotland Yard have also been on watch duty at every public experiment. In other words, Mr. Drebber had no opportunity to switch the alleged pair of bird cages.
Objection!
But I've already explained why he wouldn't have needed to. The nonsense with the crossbow? That doesn't bolster your case at all. The man who disappeared from the stage and the man who crashed into the tower are one and the same. The forensic investigations team's report is unequivocal on that point. Ugh. And the second flaw in your assertion is a distinct lack of motive. Why would this man have waited to take the victim's life? He had no reason to do so. A motive? Do I have to think of everything myself? Uh-oh. Oh shit! You just have this on hand! I see Asmin and Drebber on this! I have here a contract provided by the witness. What contract is this, Lord Ramsay? Yeah, you didn't give this to me? Updated autopsy report bullshit. The contract info which Mr. Drebber entered with the victim, Mr. Asman. It reads, Mr. Drebber is to receive 30% of all remunitions from government grants or other income. 30%? Certainly a very favorable contractual conditions. But there was one very important provision bolted onto that clause. What provision? Mr. Drebber may only uphold this right on condition that both contracting parties are alive. Uh-oh! In other words, if either of us were to die, the contract would become null and void. So you see, I had nothing to gain from Mr. Asman's death. The diametric opposite, in fact. Uh-oh. Ugh. Oh, so we have nothing! Oh, we don't have anything to prove that! Need I say more? The witness had neither an opportunity nor a reason to commit the alleged crime. In short, the possibility of Mr. Drebber having done as you suggest is nil. But he has the crossbow that we used! Okay, buddy, we can come back from this. We can come back from this. It seems the defense's assertion was somewhat wide of the mark. Lord Van Zeeks, you will submit the contract as evidence, please. Oh, here we go. I would like to read this. I would like to read this. No, Naruhodo! Ryunosuke! We got this! Oh, Asman E. Drebber. I can't help but notice that these two okay. I can't help but notice that these signatures are explicitly on this. I want to see if something else has, like, signatures on it. Just in case. What if... Can we extend this out again? There we go. I just wanted to... Okay. Testable... the fact that it has the signature on it is frightening. Is there another document with... Damn, I don't think so. Why is it there then? Lock. Alright. It's true. If Drebber had no opportunity to switch the bird cage under the stage with the one in the crystal tower, he couldn't have done it. And in any case, I have no idea what his motive might have been. There is one aspect of your argument that still holds true, however. Oh? There were 2 bird cages. The prosecution is unable to deny that. So I'm sure you're on the right lines, Mr. Naruhodo. And I've no doubt there are other aspects of your assertion that are undeniable truths, too. Thank you, Susato! Well, it would seem that the defense has no rejoinder to offer. Come on, it's Naruhodo! Well, I must say I'm a little surprised. I came here to testify about the machine I built, and instead my reputation is defiled. But the prosecution's counter set the record straight, I think. It's impossible that I'm the culprit.
Objection!
Oh! almost stunned you all, didn't I? At the beginning of this trial, we believed that there was only one birdcage, yet now we know there must have been two. In other words, there was more to the demonstration than we realized at first. Alright, what are you cooking? I think that it's abundantly clear that the same applies to the culprit. Get to the point. The staged demonstration was constructed and set up in its entirety by you, Mr. Drebber. Therefore, it's inconceivable that you had no hand in the events that transpired. Ooh. So if circumstances mean it's impossible that you could have carried out the crime yourself, it points to the fact that someone else was involved. By someone else? Counsel, are you suggesting... Well, I mean, he had to have had an accomplice. Yes, my lord. Mr. Drebber had an accomplice. And then Vincey's gonna be like, I'll prove it! I don't know what to prove it with. An accomplice now? Well then I presume you're prepared for what's to come. Now that you're accusing not only this witness, but someone else, of the most serious of crimes. Ooh. If these accusations turn out to be false, then make no mistake. The prosecution will demand an equally serious punishment for your slander. Well, counsel, do you intend to pursue this course and formally accuse another party of involvement in this matter? What do I do here? At the moment, this is little more than a hunch on my part. I don't know for sure if Drebber had an accomplice, or even if he really is the culprit here. One way or another, though, I have to make my position clear. As a lawyer. So what's my stance going to be? But did Drebber have an accomplice, or not? So, if it's a hunch, then I feel like the fact that Sith had such an involvement, she was involved, oh, it's Stevens. Oh, she changed her name then. It's probably still her, but she was involved with the professor. She was involved with the professor still. Drebber was involved with the professor still. In fact, he saw him raise out of the grave. And she was the one who testified that he died. Sith was also the one... Sith was also introduced this chapter, so I feel like if there is an accomplice, it has to be her. She was also rushing everybody out, too. The defense is ready to name Mr. Drebber's accomplice. Somehow, the two bird cages must have been switched. Everything points to that. Yet according to the coroner's report, that's not a possibility. It all goes back to who examined... Oh, because... But the inconsistency itself is a clue. Counsel? My lord? You have received a stark warning already. If you are nevertheless determined, then I must now ask you to identify this alleged accomplice by name. It's gotta be her. It's gotta be that beautiful woman that we just met a couple of hours ago. Who do you claim to have been Mr. Drebber's accomplice? It has to be you.
Take that!
The name of the person in question is... What's wrong, my Nipponese friend? Surely fear doesn't bind your tongue now. It's a little late for that. Of course I'm afraid. After all, naming her in this capacity is definitely going to make waves. A lot of waves. I could very well turn every single person in this courtroom against me. I'm sure it will be alright, Mr. Naruhodo. Thank you, Mr. Zato. The enemy always appears larger than life, but you'll appear exactly the same to the enemy. Alright then, here goes. You've kept us waiting long enough. Your answer, counsel, now. The person who colluded with Mr. Drebber in order to carry out this wicked crime is Scotland Yard's coroner, Dr. Courtney Sith. What the blazes are you talking about? Dr. Sith? Was she being... Oh, because, like, she was ordering, like, 500 scalpels, wasn't she? I feel like that has to be, like, a cover-up or something that she was actually using the money on, and she just put it down as scalpels. The head of the forensic investigation team and the coroner who conducted the autopsy on the victim. Well, yeah, she was the only one who could have gotten close. We know that there were two bird cages, so who could have carried out the switch to complete the illusion? The accident happened in front of a huge crowd of spectators, and the area was immediately sealed off. Then, everyone, police officers included, were banished to make way for the forensic investigation team. What else could the switch have occurred? Or when else could a switch have occurred? It can only have been in that team's presence. It's essential that the court determines exactly what happened following the incident. The defense demands that Dr. Sith be summoned to the witness stand at once to testify. Alright, here we go. God, this guy's just asleep. You got a nerve, lad! Standing up there, dragging the yard's name through the mud. I didn't mean to. I know the woman very well. There's no better dead room worker out there. How dare you call her a criminal? Uh-oh. My learned friend's imagination appears to be wilder than the East End at night. But the recklessness of your accusation aside, there's another great problem with your argument. One which the prosecution demands you address at once. A grave problem? Oh my word! Who do you claim acted as the victim's doppelganger? What? Certainly, if the birdcage containing the body of the victim was exchanged for another... Oh, it's the stolen waxwork! That's the body double! The cage must have also contained a body. And yet, no missing persons or accidental deaths of anyone even remotely resembling the victim have been reported. Which means there was no one, dead or alive, who could have fulfilled the role of a body double for Mr. Asman. Ugh, that's true! If my argument is that there were 2 bird cages, then there must also have been one person inside each. But I don't know if I got an answer to this yet, have I? What can I do to reveal how this body double stunt was achieved? Oh! Oh, I have the head! Yeah, I have the statue head. So they used the body then, right? Used the body. The head was for Drebber to plan it out and to hide it. Because he was going to blow it up. Present evidence. Very well. The defense will address my learned friend's concerns by presenting evidence that reveals the true nature of Mr. Asman's body double. Good gracious! Evidence? I do hope this isn't filibustering, counsel. The court is expecting a name. If you think you have relevant evidence, present it now. The body double and the birdcage were hiding inside the balloon that was floating above the stage, which means, which is like the head. The head was also head. Okay. Which means that any witnesses would have only seen them from 60 feet away. So who was it that appeared out of the explosion some 18 meters above the spectators? Aha! The body double inside the second birdcage was... here we go, Waxwork Head! We know that the victim, Mr. Asman, was in the birdcage that was situated inside the kinesis machine on stage, and therefore he couldn't have been inside the second birdcage. Instead, that contains something else. What's been described as a body double, which is what fell from the sky and crashed into the crystal tower. Yes, counsel, according to your somewhat elaborate version of events. And that body double inside the second birdcage was, in fact... It's alright, Mr. Naruhodo. You're ready for this. Go, Susato! Just steel yourself, and come out with it! Thank you, Mrs. Zato. I needed that. As I was saying, the body double inside the second birdcage was, as unbelievable as it may seem, that thing there! Yeah, it was the waxwork. Oh, we just have it in the courtroom!
Objection!
Alright. Alright. Open your eyes and look into mine, Nibbiny's friend. Now tell me, what are you playing at? Stand firm now, Mirunosuke. This isn't the time to show your Japanese spirit. As the court will observe, this is a waxwork model. Oh, it was weak! Oh, a model, in fact, of an infamous London murderer from 10 years ago, the Professor.
Objection!
You started by indicating the leader of the forensic investigation team as an accomplice in this crime, and now you've moved on to indicating Waxworks. Yes, that's about the size of it. But why? And why this waxwork? It looks nothing like the victim. In fact, it could hardly resemble him less. What possible justification can you give? If you want to know why, ask Mr. Drebber. Yeah, he's the one who stole it. What? Just days before Professor Harebrain performed his public demonstration, Mr. Drebber abducted this model from Madame Tussbell's. Did you say abducted? And 2 days after the incident at the Great Exhibition, he returned it to the museum. Then, the timing. Is this true, Mr. Drebber? At first, I couldn't see why Mr. Drebber would have stolen the waxwork and then given it back again. But now, the reason is clear. He took it so that he could put it inside the second birdcage as a body double for Mr. Asmund. Yeah, there we go. We got you, dude.
Objection!
Are you hearing this, ladies and gentlemen of the jury? Oh, they're gonna be hung up about the, I can't believe you would accuse Scotland Yard! Oh, you're stupid! Are you hearing the defense's astonishing proposal? That the witness fabricated this vast machine with the intention of deceiving some wretched scientist. That he did so in collusion with the country's finest coroner on a public stage in front of a vast audience. Buddy, please. And that to effect the deception, he used a waxwork in a model that in no way resembles the victim. Are we really going to believe this far-fetched tale? What do you decide? Why did you get the jury here? Oh, wait. Yes, if you put it like that, of course it sounds implausible. My lord! Oh, already? I need to speak, if you please. Go ahead, Mr. Foreman. Is this guy also Foreman? Myself and my colleagues have reached an agreement. Already? Okay. Come on now. Very good. In that case, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, you'll state your leanings for the court to hear now.
Guilty!
All right.
Guilty!
All right.
Guilty! Guilty!
Guilty!
Kill me!
They didn't even pause to consider. So, as indicated by the foreman, the jury has reached a consensus. I knew that was going to happen. We shall get through this, Mr. Naruhodo, as we always do. And uncover some new truths along the way, I'm quite sure. Yes, I agree. I'm going to have to appeal to the jurors as usual, and see if I can persuade them to change their minds. The defense will now embark on a summation examination. Are you and your fellows ready to proceed, Mr. Foreman? We are, my lord. Very well. In that case, I ask you now to state clearly for all present to hear the grounds on which each of you have decided that the defendant is guilty of the crime which she is charged. Judicial findings. Alright. I've known that woman for years! She'd never be an accomplice to anything! It's utter nonsense to think those two could ever be convening with one another. Oh dear, this is most troubling. But surely the waxwork the man stole has nothing to do with the coroner, is it? I've had my own problems with the members of the police. I do not trust them much. Oh, that's something we gotta press. I've seen no rigorous proof that this waxwork was ever inside the birdcage. It's all conjecture.
Accusing someone without right evidences? He's not a proper job, is he? I won't have it.
Aww, a little baby. She was listening, though. Somewhat unsurprisingly, it seems that the introduction of this waxwork model to the proceedings has polarized opinions. Given that its face is obscured and its build in no way resembles that of the victim, I can only applaud my learned friend's temerity at suggesting it as Mr. Asmund's body double. Yes, the applause is deafening. And yes, I know it seems extraordinary. But that's the point. That's why I have a strong feeling it's actually a greater clue than anyone yet realizes. What are you thinking, Mr. Naruhodo? I can't explain why at the moment, but I feel as though there's a specific reason why it was used. Why it had to be this model. Really? A reason why nothing else would do, you mean? Yes, and I'm convinced it's something far more significant than whether or not the model looked like the victim. If that's the case, we must prevent the trial from ending prematurely at all costs. Yes, agreed. I have to find a way out of this. If you're ready, alright. Yes, my lord! Alright, okay, I've known that woman for years. I wanna press number 3 first, because this feels like this is gonna give us the most information. What sort of problems? Let's just say we have run into each other on numerous occasions while I've been performing on the street. Right, I see. Obviously, artists such as myself cannot appear on stage as we work in close proximity to our audiences. So we perform our great magic in parks, on street corners, and the like. But the police use any excuse to make our lives difficult. This guy is... Excuse me! Do you have something to say in that response to that, Mr. Ottermole? What do you call it, a mass murderer? Sorry, mister. My mistake. I got confused because I heard you look a lot like him. I don't look anything like the man. You want to be locked up, sonny? Thanks, Mr. Sholmes. Yeah, he was at the museum. Perhaps we could move on. I was really wondering if you had something you wanted to add in response to what juror number 3 just said. And clearly you do. Back in my day, back in the good old days, it wasn't like this. Like, what was it like, sir? We worked our fingers to the bone to earn the public's trust, we did. And by Jove, we earned it! People respected us back then. Respected you? No one would have called a coroner into question them days. The coroner's report was the hallmark of an investigation done right. Especially when Dr. Courtney Stevens put her name to it. She was the best of the best. And that... hold on a minute. What are you talking about? Who's Courtney Stevens? Well, that's obviously her, and then she changed her name. Sorry. Got a bit carried away there. Stevens is Dr. Sid's maiden name. Oh, she's married! Her maiden name. So that was before she was married. Of course, yes. Silly me. It's Sith now, isn't it? Stevens. That's on the old autopsy report. I'm sure I've seen that name somewhere recently. Anyway, the point is, those were the great days of policing! Not like now. Sorry to interrupt, sir. But do you think you could change your statement to include that name? Well, yes. I don't see why not. Oh, shit. Okay. She was Courtney Stevens back when I knew her, of course. A legendary coroner even then. Oh, shit. Oh, that's wrong! Oh, that's just straight up wrong! I have to fit these two, right? Like that. Courtney Stevens back when I knew her, of course. A legendary coroner, except... this will let us put these two together because the autopsy report has her name on it. Right? These two statements clearly contradict each other! Goodness gracious! To whose statements do you refer, counsel? So, juror number 2? Oh gosh, me? What can I do for you? I presume that you heard what juror number 6 said in his statement is brought to light the maiden name of the coroner, Dr. Sith, which in turn has revealed a connection that wasn't apparent before. Well, naturally, as a woman of society, I find such connections and relationships irresistible. But, oh golly, I'm afraid I failed to see what you mean. Dr. Sith's maiden name is Stevens. And through that name, the coroner is very definitely linked to the waxwork of the killer. The defense has evidence to prove it. My goodness, evidence, you say? How utterly enthralling. Oh, I think she's just excited by the prospect of evidence, I guess. Counsel, the court cannot overlook that last remark. I very much hope there is substance to your claim. Of course, my lord. I would ask the court to look at this. The evidence that could. Oh, give me the autopsy report. There we go. This has her name. She signed it. I have here a certain autopsy report from 10 years ago. A 10-year-old autopsy report? What relevance does that have? It is, of course, from the autopsy of the person portrayed in the waxwork, the killer known as the Professor. The Professor's... But the man was a capital offender, so... That's right. This is the certification of death that was drawn up after the convict's execution. The identity of the killer was never made public, so the report gives few details. But what's important is the name of the coroner who wrote it. Courtney Stevens. Oh my! Courtney Stevens! Strike a light! It appears that the professor's autopsy was conducted by Dr. Sith 10 years ago. And a few days ago, Dr. Drebber very deliberately stole the waxwork of the professor from Madame Tuspel's. A waxwork that doesn't in fact resemble the victim, Dr. Asman, at all. And do you suppose there's some unsavory relationship between those events? Absolutely! I'm sure of it! There's no doubt in my mind that the professor case is at the heart of a link we have yet to uncover between Dr. Courtney Sith and Mr. Enoch Drebber. Oh, this changes hers, then. Hidden links, mysterious connections, secret relationships. This is almost extraordinary. She's just enthralled by something that is not the norm, I think. Oh, we're surely obliged now to explore this further. Oh, thank you! Oh, that was easy! Quite right. We can't let this trial come to an end now. Not while there's this cloud of suspicion hanging over the courtyard's best coroner. It wasn't like this back in my day, but we're still here to uphold justice in the end. Thank you, old man. Oh, we just need one more. Or not one more, two more. Oh. In the corner. Jeez. No rigorous proof that this waxwork was ever inside the birdcage is all conjecture. This feels like something that we'd have to... Oh right, the glass, right? This was found in there. I forgot about this. The glass was inside the waxwork. I was literally looking at this too. I don't believe... Yeah, it's glass from the crystal tower. I can't present this though, so I'd have to press it for him to be like, oh. But you claim the whole instantaneous kinesis demonstration was a trick. And I did, but there's more than one way to pull a rabbit out of a hat, isn't there? Sorry? I grant you, given that this cage appeared from amidst an explosion, there'd have been no need to use a real person. But if a waxwork had been used, the culprit could at least have had the decency to make it look like the victim. I'm not sure exactly how much criminals are governed by decency. The point is, if you're going to make a claim about that waxwork being inside the birdcage, you need to give us some evidence. Without that, it's just not science. I suppose we should expect nothing less than a logical argument from a fellow of the Royal Society. But perhaps that means his mind could be changed if we manage to present suitable evidence, which we have, the piece of glass. Inside the birdcage. Can I produce that or not? I have evidence! Actually, I have something I'd like you to see, sir. Oh? I must warn you that I firmly believe it's only wise to trust men in white cloaks. Clothes? Coats. Oops, my bad. So given your jet black outfit, I don't mind admitting to a sense of trepidation here. So you don't trust anyone in black? Looking in the mirror must be very trying. Okay, evidence that proves the waxwork was inside the birdcage, namely, the piece of glass that we found in there.
Take that!
What's that? A piece of glass? Oh, it's unusually thick for glass. Yes, it's a piece of broken glass that we found inside the jacket on the waxwork. As you say, it's not ordinary glass though. It's very thick and clearly made for extra strength. Much like the special glass that was developed for the construction of the Crystal Tower. The Crystal Tower— Holy smokes! Exactly, the centerpiece of the great exhibition, where the very incident we're talking about took place. On the day in question, the birdcage fell from above and smashed through a window of that special glass. from whence this small piece originated. Is that it? Precisely. So what do you say? Now that clear evidence in support of the assertion has been placed before you. Well, as I said, I only trust men in white coats as a rule. However, when the reasoning is sound, it's fair to say color shouldn't come into it. In light of what you've shown here, yes, I feel obliged to change my position on the matter. Thank you. Thank you for being sensible. In that case, juror number 4, you will amend your statement now, please. The presence of that glass leaves me little doubt that the waxwork was indeed inside the birdcage. Oh, and this one's just... give me right evidence, please. Is there anything more? Okay, this one... probably not. This one, probably not. It has to be these two.
Hold it!
Whoops! Oh, I didn't mean to press! Oh, thank you for... whoops! Nice boy, my opinion is governed by logic and science and nothing else. Huh? Oh. It appears that- what's the matter with you? Too good to say some words of thanks to the mother of all academic subjects? What is it about scientists? Honestly. Okay, I have to pit you with you.
Objection!
Okay, these are statements clearly contradict each other. Counsel? If you could put down your corn for a moment, juror number 5. Oh, let a girl eat!
Oh, you mean me?
He pointed out that it's wrong to make an accusation without evidence. The accusation that the waxwork model was inside the second birdcage on the day in question is not without supporting evidence, as the defense demonstrated to the juror sitting beside you.
Oh, is that right?
Have you been paying attention? Would it be fair to say you didn't follow the argument?
I don't understand much besides Colonel Cobb, to be honest.
Of course you don't. If I could interject here. Please do, sir. Now that that assertion of yours about the waxwork has been backed up by some solid evidence, it would be wrong of me as a man of science not to pursue the matter further. Thank you!
Well, me too then.
Sorry?
If this brainy gentleman says he's right, then he must be. See, I wouldn't dream of going against Colonel Cobb or anyone who's got stuff in between the ears.
Huh. Oh, thank you? Success! If you can call it that. Thank you, counsel. That will do. As a result of the summation examination, the jury's overall leaning has changed. 2 jurors now call guilty, against 4 who call not guilty. Accordingly, the court has failed to reach a consensus at this time. And the trial must continue! We did it! Let's go! Oh, well done, Mr. Naruhodo! Another wonderful victory! We did it! Oh. A waxwork of the despicable professor, used as a body double for the victim, is quite an extraordinary case. I must say it's extremely hard to believe the assertion could possibly be true. However, it would appear that it does at least warrant further investigation. It's the waxwork of the professor that links Mr. Drewer and Dr. Sith. And I'm convinced that there's a special significance to that link. I don't know what you're hoping to prove, lad. I really don't!
The truth, sir.
By using evidence and testimony. If the court is to delve deeper into the alleged involvement of the waxwork in this case, then the prosecution calls for the owner of the model to be summoned as a witness. Oh, Tussbells! The owner? Madame Tussbells. I really thought that Lord Van Zooks would object to this whole line of inquiry. Very well, I concur. Make arrangements for Madame Tussbells to appear as a witness with immediate effect. Listen carefully, my learned friend. Oh, yes? You should know that you're on the brink of opening Pandora's box. Oh, uh-oh. Oh, because Oh, he's giving us a warning, a heads up, to be like, hey, just be ready. The court shall now adjourn for 45 minutes. During that time, the prosecution will summon the new witness and prepare her for taking the stand. Madam Tussbells, yes. I shall see to it at once, my lord. Not... Is Courtney Sith? To be continued. Alright, yes, we'll save. That's also where we'll call it a night for tonight. Because my throat is feeling quite drained. And also this feels like a good time to just take a pause for a second. So, well, yes, it's the 24th of October. Please let me end the game. But, as we end off here, thank you guys for stopping by. If you'd like, come join the Discord server. We have fun here, I swear. If you want to see my art or other people's art, check out the Blue Sky or the Tumblr. Twitter doesn't exist anymore. It's been eaten by a rat. And if you want to watch past streams, come look at their YouTubes. But that's all I've got for you guys tonight. We'll see you guys later. Have a good night. Bye-bye. We'll see you guys on Friday.